the later on also some students may get some help from this. So this lecture will provide and help you to know how to increase concentration and block out the distractions. We'll discuss some facts and concentration tips as well and techniques. So what are those scientific research? So I am sharing with you some scientific research based on the surveys. The reference is also given here. For example, our brain, it only accounts for 2% of total body weight and it consumes 20% of our body nutrition. So this is from healthguide.org. This shows us that our diet or our nutrition should be healthy so that our mind will be healthy. The second fact is, according to the study conducted by National Institute of Health, two completely different parts of the brain control a person's ability to concentrate and a person's tendency to get distracted. This is surveyed by USA Today. What are those two different parts of the brain that controls a person's ability? One is concentration and the other one is tendency to get distracted. You feel that when you are going to study for some subject, for example, mathematics or science, as soon as you are sitting on your table and chair, you feel that you are missing something. So this is the part of distraction. Physical exercise also improves. The third scientific fact is physical exercise improves blood circulation and oxygen to the brain, which improve attention. So in this third scientific fact, we see that when there is a healthy mind, there is a healthy body. If you have a good exercise, you are doing walking or you are playing outdoor games, so you have a good blood circulation. Hence, this will improve your concentration and your focus while you are studying. So this is the three scientific facts which I have shared with you. Now, here, in this part now, we should learn there are techniques to our study. You know, we have a 5 senses. I know that you already know it. So if we are using all these senses while we are studying, this will improve our ability to focus. For example, if a person is there and he is studying only this book, by glancing or by scanning it, he will not be able to focus because he is just using his reading habit. But if he is using not only a reading, but also he is telling something and he is also listening the words, so there will be more sense of organ is involved here and he can focus more than the previous one. So if you are thinking, what are those techniques, study techniques? So there are 4 types of learning style. We call it what? Let me share with you the whiteboard to explain you in a better way. So what are those learning styles? There are 4 types. It is called as VARK, WARK type of styles. So V stand for visual, means the thing which you are looking at it. You are looking at teacher and the teacher is explaining something. as well as the second one is auditory. Means you are hearing what the teacher is telling to you. So there are two sense of organ involved now. And if you are using your handwriting or your pen and pencil, so this is called as R for reading and writing. So there are now three sense of organ involved. It is more efficient. If you will use the next one, that is K. K is used as kinesthetic, which means that you are feeling it. You are experiencing the same thing which the teacher has taught you, or you are practicing it. For example, if the teacher has taught you about a photosynthesis uh, uh, photosynthesis process, and you not only visualize it, heard it, read it, but also you are also making a practicing it. You have put a plant and you are trying to observe the things, so it will more help you. So these are the learning styles. Most of the people, they feel that they are more visualistic, means they will learn better way when they are uh, looking or they are seeing it. For example, if you read a passage or a lesson and still you have some doubt and you are going to check the same topic on the internet, and there is some 10 minutes, 15 minutes video, and you are thinking the three-dimensional or two-dimensional explanation of the same thing, so you will understand it in better way. So what we learn now, the learning style is, it is called as VARK, VARK, visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic. So if you are reading this, you are utilizing and practicing these four styles in your studying, you can be more focused than before. So this is the human tendency, that if the person is involved with more than one sense of organ, he will be more focused at that point. All right. So visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic. These are the four WARK model. It is called as VARK, WARK model. So we have to learn that what is best for me. Usually the combination of three is more powerful and beneficial for the student. What are those? VAR. Sometimes kinesthetic is difficult to experience or do it practically, so it will be more difficult for the student. Even though I suggest you to share the same knowledge to the other fellow students, then this will become a part of kinesthetic, and you will absorb it and you will learn it more than anybody else. I want to ask you, I will share with you one slide, and I want somebody can read this one. Just raise your hand, our admin, he will unmute you. Can you see this screen? Who will say, I want somebody to read it. What we remember, this is the phrase of a scientist. He have derived this from a long experience and surveys. All right. I want, if somebody is there, can you unmute yourself and read it, please? We remember, what we remember? 10% of what we remember, 20% of what, and 90% of what. So everybody, if I am a student, I would like to remember and focus 90%? Because I want to learn more. If I will remember 90%, then maybe I will be able to write at least 70% or 65% in my exams. All right. So we have to first remember it all. Okay, who will read it? Okay, MM, can you please read this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we remember.
10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see,
Very good.
50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we say, 90% of what we say and do.
Do. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. So this, see this one, this part, hearing part and seeing part. I told you before, there is three. The style is VARK, WARK model. Correct? Now, this is a part of V. Hearing is a part of A. And reading is a part of R. But if you will feel this one, 90%, it is known as K, kinesthetic type. Because you are experiencing it by teaching to others. So if a person wants to just remember 10%, he will just read it, scan it, the lesson, halas, finished. And he will tell to the teacher, okay, I have done it. When the teacher will ask or the examiner will ask some question, maybe orally or written, then he will not remember it. He will just remember 10% of that what we read. But the time he spent the same time. For example, if a student is studying for 1 hour or 2 hours, and even though he cannot grasp it, so this is a loss, time lost, and it cannot be regained. So from the beginning, we have to use all the combination of these styles and focus. Reading, if 10% only we are reading, scanning it or reading it. We are not a computer. We are not a robots. So we have to go in deep, word by word. If somebody is facing a difficulty in the meaning of an particular or specific word, go to the dictionary, check what is the meaning of that particular word, so that you can remember it. Usually when we were studying, when there is any hard word coming, we have to write down next to the, there is a margin there, mark it there and write down that what is the meaning of that, so that in future, when we will revise it, we will remember the whole thing in a fraction of seconds. The 20% is what we hear, auditory type. 30% is what we see by looking and watching. 50%, see, this is the combination. What we are talking is seeing and hearing. And this is also a combination, what we say and do. So if you want to remember it more, like 90% or more than, so you have to utilize all this style. Okay, so I hope you understand. Now, the second part, we are going ahead. Now we will go to the next part. The second part is to know what are those distracting factors. This is a very important thing. If we don't know what are the things which we are facing trouble with, so now we see this work. Now we'll see the another one, that will be a distracting factors. Why I cannot write? Distracting factors. It might be different for every individual. Distracting factors. First, we have to identify what are those distracting factors. If this is the distracting factor, throw it like that. No need. When you are studying on a table and there is a TV in that room, try to move back to the another room where there is no distraction. When you are sitting in a sitting area or in a majlis or in a common place where all the friends or all the family members are there and they are talking to each other. So try to avoid this place. Go to the corner of the room or a separate area where you will find silence. So distracting factors might be different for any individuals. It depends on individual. For example, number one is a noise. If you are sitting near a window, your table and chair is near a window and there is a nearby road or a highway, and you are experiencing always a car horns and noise and shoutings, and you are getting distracted, so better to change the place. So what are those? Can you write down in the chat box? What are those distracting factors which you experience by yourself? You might think that a TV might be a some, if there are your siblings who are toddlers and they want to watch some rhymes or songs, so it might affect your studies. Now we are in exam period and we are very near to exams, so we should avoid all these distracting factors. So can you write down in the chat box what are those distracting factors? First you have to introspect yourself. First ask yourself, what are those, what I feel when I am going to study on my table. Is there something which is distracting me? Maybe if you are going to study, you will feel that you don't have your stationaries, your eraser, pencil, pen. You feel that it's now, you have to look for it, and maybe it will take you 10 or 15 minutes while searching and shouting on others. This will be a problem. So you have to be more organized in that case. All right, so what are those? Let me see it. Yeah, somebody is telling noise, siblings, loud talking, or it might be person to person. Let me explain you some of those which I presume that it might be a distraction for you. Number one is a digital devices. If you are surrounded by a tab, by a mobile phone, or by a laptop, now we are using the laptop for studies, yes, but if there is some software which is going to be distracting for you, so avoid it. So number one is a digital devices. See, if my Zoom meeting will end up, kindly rejoin with the same link. I am trying to cover as soon as possible. So the first is noise, second is devices which might affect your studies. All right. So the third might be, as I told you earlier, mental time travel. This is a very big issue. And fourth one is, which I feel that this will be a distracting part, that is, who can read this? What is this word? Just unmute yourself and read this fourth distracting factor. This is known as procrastination. You are delaying something which you have to do it now. So this is also a distracting part. So what are those distracting parts? One is noise, devices, digital devices or gadgets, mental time travel, and procrastination. So these are the four parts which I feel that there will be a issue with distractions. Might be there is a fifth one, that will be a room light, or you can say low light or high light, low or high. So these are, we cannot focus on a very low light, very dim, or very high and shining light also we cannot focus. So these are the 5 distracting factors which a person or individual may face. So avoid it first. When you know your learning style, combination of these things, when you avoid all your distracting factors, you have a silence place, you have away from your devices, you are trying to be present on the on this on in person and no need to move in time travel. You are avoiding procrastination and you have a proper light where you can read or write. So now you are ready for focusing. Now the third and the last and important part will move, that is known as, okay, what are those? First, we will learn this mental time travel, how to avoid it. Let me share with you the how to avoid this mental time travel, especially. So, if you are feeling that this is all the one which we discuss, if you are feeling that you are a person who is thinking, overthinking, maybe a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. You are sitting on your table and chair, but your mind is not your place. Maybe it's thinking of some music or some playing outdoor games or going to Cornish or going to shopping mall or discussing with some friend. So this is called as time traveling, mental time travel. So it has been observed that 47% of the time a student is mentally absent. This is the survey report. It's not from my end. See, this has been done on 11th of November 2010. 46.9% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they are doing. So this is a real issue which we have to think over it. There are 3 simple steps which you can avoid it. By utilizing it, you can avoid the time travel. The first one is notice. So first thing is, when you are thinking that I am not mentally present on my place, so notice it. Each time you encounter of these cues, simply notice by bringing your attention to your mental state. Simply notice what's happening in your mind and from a non-judgmental place of curiosity. When you are alone, what you are thinking, just try to focus and notice it by yourself. And then the second step is shift. Bring your attention in the present moment. Now, what you are doing, what you are supposed to do, but now, where is your mind? And there could be a prominent sound, just some knock something that you are present now here, not some. And it could be sensation of your body, or it could be simply a breath, a deep breath. And the third one is rewire. Now, within 15 to 30 seconds, try to be present and from shift yourself from mental time travel to reality. But we don't have a knowledge that how much time you are experiencing and how long it will take. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. So you have to check yourself, introspect yourself. You have to avoid it, especially these time travels. So these are the things which we learned today. And what are those distracting factors? Now we will rewire it. Okay. So let me do a quick check of what we did in whiteboard. Okay. So we now know learning styles, distracting factors, and now the third one will be focus strategy. Now note down some point how to focus this in a better way. Number one is be on time. What we call it? We call it punctuality. So be on time. What you are doing, do it on time. If you are attending the online sessions, the classes, be on time. So don't delay. This is the first part. The second part, it can be that avoid multitasking. The second is no multitasking. When you are focusing on one thing, you are studying one lesson, focus on that. Don't do it with another task. Like you are studying something and there is a snack and you are eating also, and there is a TV going on and there is some discussion which you want to involve with that. Don't do it. Focus on one thing one time. So no multitasking, so that you are focused and you can have a good concentration over there. Number third one, if you are feeling that you are mental time traveling, so write down your worries. If you are having a problem with your worries, you are feeling some awkwardness, so write down on a paper that these are my issues. I will do it after this exam or